Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Happy Sunday to you and your family. I hope you're having an amazing day. We're taking a look here, of course, at WOJAK 269. Get a lot of requests from this coin from mainly my community members, but also just in general, folks are wanting to find out what's going on with this coin. Why is it doing so well? How much further can it go if it can? And where some key level supports and resistances are. So we're going to be sure to check that out here today. And I want to say congrats again to our community members for our Premium Plus members, of course. BCH 18% profit there today. Yesterday we took some profits from ETH and BNB. Nice little 9 and 5% there. And of course Litecoin 8.9%. List goes on, and obviously our premium members are doing well too there with our ARPA trade 11%. They're not massive movements just yet, but these coins are ready to take off. Bitcoin a good 17% there. The list goes on. Price continues to increase, and a lot of our trades are starting to take off here. There we go, injected 55%. Either way you look at it, really cool stuff that's fully automated through Cornix. You basically set it and forget it. Or you can automatically follow my trades if you'd like. That is definitely an option for you. Anyways, what we want to talk about here with WOJAK is this previous situation here. In other words, we had some support. The price didn't even bother to come back down to that support level, so we can kind of get rid of that. That's a previous fair value gap, essentially. And we also have this resistance level here, too, based on volume. Once again, with limited data, you're going to have less impactful support and resistance levels, but when I covered this coin here a couple of days ago, obviously the price was kind of testing this range, and it broke straight through and has not looked back yet. Look, it keeps on going, right? So we're going to talk about where it's going to go and how much further it could go, honestly, here with this situation. So what we want to do next here, and I get the question a lot, like, hey, how do you properly anticipate where the price is going to go next if it's an all-time high? Obviously, it broke through the previous all-time high. Well, you do want to state and note that this is an obvious support and resistance level. So for lack of better terms, the price does pull back. There's a decent chance that the price will essentially be able to maintain right there at that, 36.50 mark. It'll likely be able to bounce off that level. But leading into that, we want to know much further how much higher it could go, right? So what we do is we take our Fibonacci retracement, pull it from the most recent high to the most recent low, because once again, these candlesticks haven't closed yet. I think we got 3 white soldiers, if I'm not mistaken, on the daily forming. We'll talk about that here in a minute, but this is the bottom line here. This is how you can anticipate where the price is going to go and where it's going to work within those Fibonacci levels. We can see that it's spent a little bit of time here at 1.272 and rejected at 1.414. That's a very common situation. What's also common too is for the price to retest or just to initially test 1.618 and then turn around from there. So the price does continue higher. My money is on 1.618, which puts us about 5,080. Roughly 5,000 even would be a good profit target if you're considering holding into that point. I wouldn't get greedy if I were you, but again, I probably would have taken profits a long time ago and wished I hadn't. So again, we all have different strokes, and different folks have different kind of risk tolerance. So if you're kind of waiting this one out, holding on for a long time, and you got in a good price, don't worry about selling, right? But still, if you're just day trading or something along those lines, you may want to consider a profit target here relatively soon. Okay, so let's talk about the daily and kind of work our way down. That's what I want to kind of bring to your attention. We do have 3 white soldiers here, pretty obvious, stark reality. In other words, when you have 3 green candles in a row, it's considered a candlestick pattern referred to as 3 white soldiers. You could even argue that this was a 3 white soldiers pattern here before the price pulled back. Okay, so there's a stronger likelihood, no guarantee, but stronger likelihood today, this candlestick here today or soon, will be followed by a red candle. Okay, again, you can only go so far in the same direction without that potential of continuation and or retracement. So in other words, it's pretty likely that we will see either a retest of this 36.50 mark, or even somewhere in the candlestick closure about maybe just say 3,300, or even as low as 0.786. That can actually occur, roughly 3,200. Okay, so between 32 and 36 would be a strong likelihood for the price to kind of gravitate towards that level. It could even come back down to the most recent high, which is essentially right there at about 2,600. So again, just give you some possibilities here. There's no guarantees it's going to pull back, but there's a stronger chance that we will see some support here in this range here at about 3,600. We lose that support, somewhere in the 0.618 to 786 levels is a common area for the price to consolidate. Once again, we got a lot of fair value here, okay? Large fair value gaps that haven't been filled yet. So to me, my money would be more so towards shorting this coin, if that's an option for you, versus taking a long, okay? Again, just a consideration there. So that's kind of where we're at there. And effectively, that's where the daily is here. If we can see some other things. We're overextended on the RSI, of course. That's a big surprise. We're up over 70. So just saying we're overbought. So the mindset is basically shifting from like, hey, this is a good value to, hey, this is too too high for me. I'm going to consider selling. Okay. So that's pretty much what happens on the back end, right? You got to understand the psychology of how people trade. That's basically what's going on. They're shifting their mentality from this being a great buying opportunity to we've been up here for too long. We might want to consider selling and taking some profits. Okay, so there's a decent chance the price would pull back because of that. That being said, taking a look at the 4-hour, we can see we're also overextended. Big surprise there. TD sequential is going to tell us that we should have stopped and pulled back somewhere in the range of about 2,400, which is roughly where we were expecting the price to initially retrace and have some difficulty because there was a lot of volume in that profile. And now that's changed a lot. In fact, let's go ahead and take a look at this here really quick. Curious where we're at with the most amount of volume. Obviously, we got a pretty solid foundation. Let's exclude that and kind of see roughly what that looks like. So obviously, we got the most amount of volume at about 1,700. Second most, right there, that key level resistance here. Turn support right there at 0.5 Fibonacci, about 2,500. So 2,500 even would be the absolute bottom if the price does pull back. It's kind of a case in point where we should see some support if it ever happens that way. I'm not saying it's going to come down that low, but if it does, there's a lot of volume in that range. And that kind of tells us that that's where we're at. That's another reason why we saw this price, likely a short squeeze, where the price just shot straight through. Because bottom line here is we saw some strong attempt at this resistance level, this halfway mark on Fibonacci, 2,500, and then it just took off from there. It basically just implies a lot of folks were anticipating the price not going any higher as it was overextended leading into that. Okay, I was part of that too, right? And again, it's okay to anticipate different scenarios. It's okay to be wrong, obviously. But when it comes to situations like these, Fibonacci retracement is a very solid tool in these scenarios where we have less data and we don't have a tremendous amount of track record. Okay. Either way, let's roughly where we're at there for WOJAK 269 there on the 4-hour. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 1-hour and see. Pretty solid, obvious indication that we have pretty green lights here, for lack of better terms, from the Ichimoku cloud. So if you're not familiar with this, basically lagging span tells us if we have enough momentum, which we are in a position right now where you can leave your long position open. But you may want to consider either closing or taking profit soon because of the fact that we're overextending ourselves into this region. Unless the price will shoot up again, which it could up to that 1.619 Fibonacci retracement level at what's again roughly about 5,000, then we should be in a situation where a selling target would come soon. Okay, so if the price stays where it's at for the next 24 to 40 hours, that would be an indication that it's lost its momentum to the upside and it may pull back soon. Again, if it pulls back, we got this nice, wonderful Ichimoku cloud here, averaging itself out in between 3,300 and about 3,900. Okay, so that implies that the price action, if it does pull back, should essentially ride that out. That's basically a series of moving averages and hold the price action in place. And so again, this support level here at about 3,650, I think is going to be a strong area to be able to consider adding to your position or just to effectively seeing a bounce from there. That's the likely candidate there. Okay, so again, that's roughly what we're looking at there for WOJAK 269. Honestly, we can't look at too much else. I mean, we see overextensions all over the place. There's like 3 or 4 massive overextensions. So in truth, it has to slow down soon. My money is on the 3 white soldiers here, essentially on the daily. Having these 3 strong green candles leads me to believe today or tomorrow should be a red day. Now, to clarify, when I say red day, it just implies that the one-day candlestick should close red. So this one could close red. We've got about 6 hours left in today's candle. Or if it doesn't, then tomorrow's should be red, and we could see a retest at 3650. Okay, so again, it would be nice if we kind of saw something along those lines where it continued higher. It's really common for the price to gravitate back towards that previous all-time high. All right, I hope that I described that correctly and that made sense for you. Obviously, if you can, do us a favor, jump on over to Discord, help us grow our community, and obviously, be part of something bigger. Same thing with our Twitter as well. We just started this here recently, but trying to get that off the ground as well. So greatly appreciate the feedback. If you have it, comment below, like, subscribe, the whole 9 yards, and if you want to become part of something bigger, not bitter, because it's actually a good thing. CryptoCash.tech, link down below. We actually have a summer sale going on right now. So hope you have a good rest of your day. Thanks again for joining me. We'll see you in the next one. Take good care.